for you. I'm still searching for you. From dirt to the sky, I'm still searching for you. 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 I'm still from dirt to the sky. I'm still searching for you.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
You disgust me.
Who gives a shit?
Go on.
I made it the fuck up. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. It's glorious. And I run. Just for fun, 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 just for fun.
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
Just for fun, 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 just for fun.
Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. It's good to see y'all. T-shirted historian, welcome.
Hello.
How are ya?
I was cutting a little closer. I didn't think I was going to quite make it.
I'm glad you did.
Well, to make a long story short, which is a little bit rare for this instance, a neighbor had called and asked me to come by and pick up some food because she made a little too much. And you see, out here in the Midwest, we have there's a little something they call the Midwest goodbye.
Uh-oh,
And-
I know this one.
You see, it's sort of the total opposite of the Irish goodbye, in which you just disappear without a word. See, the Midwest goodbye is sort of the total opposite. It starts with a, well, I suppose, you say, as you begin to get up, and then the conversation doesn't just stop there. No, it follows you to the door, and then you have to have those other little side stories, and then we got to start going into the vacations plans. We're like, oh, well, we're gonna be getting ready to go to Chicago. We're gonna have someone stay here at the house, and we'll make sure we got the cats taken care of. Because Fluffy, she's got a little bit of an upset stomach, and we gotta be careful there. Hey, how's the boat? Did you happen to get that on the lake this week? Oh no, I'm sorry, we didn't quite get that there. And then before you know it, you start having to trade recipes, and all this is like your hand is just on the door.
Shut your fucking mouth!
No problem, John.
Shut the fuck up, you cunt! Shut it!
And then you get to the car. And then once you're at the car, you can't actually leave yet.
I'm sorry, that was perfectly hysterically timed.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's why I keep that one.
For me.
Okay. I think I'm good now.
So yeah, I get it. I get it. Okay, well, I'm glad you managed to pry yourself free because I've had those situations before.
Like it's no joke. Like it happens.
Yeah, we usually call those people time vampires. Like they just latch onto your watch and they just steal your time.
There's actually a couple great comedy bits about it. I'll have to find one for you guys sometime.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure because it's something that everybody's had to go through at least once or twice in their life. But
knowing me, I probably cause them more than I'm involved in them, knowing how I am.
well, I mean, that's the thing. If you know that you are the cause of it, then, it's up to you to kind of fix it. But anyway.
I mean, I happen to have one ready if you want to see it.
No.
Okay.
I'm good, thanks. Your story was just perfectly sufficient, and we have way too much good stuff to go over to be dragged down with bad stuff. Which is why immediately we're going to go to some bad stuff.
Oh no.
Yes. Don't worry, we have some good stuff too, though.
So we're going to Reddit then. Got it.
No.
Oh, that's a fun story.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what fun story?
Yeah, apparently Reddit has been co-opted and been used by German AI or Austrian AI.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that guy just slipped into the back burner. I completely forgot about that.
Oh, I didn't forget.
Oh, yep, and Patty's in the chat here too.
Yep.
And also, apparently, Google is basically in the process of decoupling themselves from Reddit, which they've been using to train some AI. And then they're probably going to even stop recommending Reddit via Google. So, ticking time clock on that site, which is publicly traded,
no kidding.
by the way.
Which is what?
Publicly traded.
Oh. Well, I don't have any stock in it, so I'm good.
I wouldn't recommend people buying it, but I'm also not recommending people on what to invest in. So I'm not saying invest. I'm not saying don't invest.
Yeah, that's been all over the place. I love that.
Yes. Okay.
You're still watching this, huh?
I'm still watching this, and I have to. Okay, look,
because zombie.
He tortures himself, so we don't have to torture ourselves.
Because zombies, but also because I figure I can't talk shit about this if I haven't seen it, and having seen it firsthand, I can definitely talk some shit about it. So just to give you the lowdown and the light on the latest story, she's still ugly, but we knew that already. Huh?
Oh, she's still ugly. Who's at 11?
Ellie, still ugly. Yes.
Perfect time to have the BioShock scene of the guy going, "She's ugly, ugly." Yeah.
Still has the she still looks like a little 90-pound girl and is still able to take down fully grown human being men with fairly little difficulty. So yeah, that's just I that just doesn't happen. But anyway, okay, so this week, Jesus, it was so slow. It was incredibly slow for about the first 30 or so minutes with various things. And then at some point in the middle of the episode, they get caught by a bunch of smart infected, the stalkers or whatever they're called. And we're pretty sure they're going to die because Dina is stuck inside of some little electrical cage, which they're able to tear apart somehow, which I don't understand because they're normal humans. And even though they have, enhancement by the mushrooms, I didn't think the mushrooms made them super strong, but they're ripping this electrical cage apart. And this ain't one of those little ones. This is like a heavy duty electrical cage and they're tearing it apart. And in the meantime, Ellie's getting the shit beat out of her and bitten out of her, I guess. And they get saved by Jesse, the good guy, the only real, guy I'm really interested in watching at this point because, Joel's dead. So, so yeah, they get saved. They manage to, get chased into a park where there's a bunch of the horrible Scar people, where they can watch the Scar people ritualistically torture a guy to death by carving out his stomach and letting him bleed out, which I guess is their way of saying, hey, look, the wolves aren't good. These other people are even worse. So they're both bad people. And I'm just kind of like, okay, they're both bad. You've shown me 2 bad groups. Actually, you've shown me 3 bad groups because you've got the federal, whatever, the Fedra that started from first season, and they were bad, and they continue to be bad, and they continue to show how bad they are throughout this season. And you've got the wolves, which are also bad, and then you've got the Scars, which are also bad. And I'm just kind of like, is there anybody in this show worth rooting for? Because so far, I think the mushrooms have it right. I mean, you don't see the mushrooms killing each other.
What happened to Ron Swanson's character?
Who?
Ron Swanson's character that was on the first season of the show. What happened to him?
Was he one
Ron
of the gay ones?
Swanson. Is he the gay guy?
Or whoever the actor is that played Ron Swanson at Community Park. He was also in
He's
the
dead.
first season of...
He's dead. He's dead when he's dead pretty much before the first season begins.
Gotcha. Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
know that. That's why I was like, wait a minute, because it just popped in my head that, oh yeah, the guy who played Ron Swanson was also in this show.
No, he and his lover commit suicide, and yeah, they Joel and Ellie find their stuff and gear up and pack up and move on from his supplies.
Wait, I thought Joel was the lover.
No, actually, I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about that first season. Even that particular episode, I mean, it's unnecessary. You didn't have to see it. It didn't have to be in there. It was included solely to play to a certain kind of audience. But it wasn't a bad episode. So, I still maintain the first season was good to watch, even when it wasn't always good to watch. The second season, however, has not been that whatsoever, because the tonal shifts will give you complete whiplash, because you go from seeing, Joel get horrendously murdered by a 91-pound woman who beat him to death with her tiny little fists somehow. I guess her fists must be made out of vanadium or something. But yeah, somehow she manages to beat Joel to death, who is a 6-foot-something specimen dude. And you go from that to Ellie and Dina going on a road trip and talking about bands that they couldn't possibly have heard, like Fleetwood Mac and all this other shit. And I'm just kind of like, shouldn't they be like a little bit more upset about what happened? I mean, they both pretty much were just in the presence of a guy who got, horribly mutilated in front of them and murdered. But whatever. Okay, let's just ride across the country to seek out his killers and go kill them. There's nothing grim about this task whatsoever. While we're there, we'll stop in a music store and play, Take On Me by Aha on a guitar, which it's a lovely scene. It's an absolutely lovely scene. It's totally out of place, but it's a lovely scene. I get it. And then, yeah, we get into the infected and all this other stuff. They eventually make their way into this hospital where one of the people who killed Joel is, and surprise, surprise, it happens to be the very same chick who is going to be the model for the brand new Neil Druckmann game. What was it called? Like Heretic or whatever? Heretic Legacy or Heretic My Balls? I don't know. Anyway, it's the ball black chick that nobody likes in the game.
Wasn't that one in Watch Dogs?
No, I don't think
Naughty
so.
Dogs or something?
They're all in every single video game now. There's always an ugly black chick in every game you buy now. that's made by Quadruple A Studio. It's just they can't help themselves anymore. You know, I if they were pretty black women, I wouldn't care, but they're ugly all the time. I'm just kind of like, why do I want to look at this for hours on end? I don't.
I think the
But anyway.
last attractive black woman I remember in a video game was the pothead chick from Saints Row.
Yeah, she was kind of hot. But anyway, okay, so Ellie chases her through this hospital that's kind of partially abandoned, and they fall down this elevator shaft. Actually, they escape down an elevator shaft, which goes into a basement where there's a bunch of infected that are basically all mushroomed up and immobile, but they inhale air and they exhale spores. So basically, the mushrooms are spitting spores out into the air all over the place in this basement. And Ellie catches up with this chick. This chick is like coughing because she's infected. She didn't have a gas mask on. And of course, Ellie's like, haha, I'm immune. Fuck you. And when this chick sits there and says, you know what? That bitch died and all this other stuff, and tries taunting Ellie about how Joel died. So Ellie goes and picks up a big old heavy section of pipe, one that is probably far too heavy for that actress to actually lift in real life. So it had to be made out of, composites and, plastics and things, probably. Because
minus the paper mache.
Yeah. I mean, I think the plastics you work with are heavier than this pipe that she was using, but anyway, yeah, she takes this pipe and she proceeds to slowly beat this woman to death in a manner very, very reminiscent of the beating that Abby gave Joel in the video game.
So, the only thing I've heard about this particular episode is the parent line.
Which one?
The I'm gonna be a father.
Oh, that's the episode before.
Oh.
I'm gonna be a daddy, or I'm gonna be a dad.
Well, I think they got the language wrong, because this is the version I heard. T-shirt, be so kind as to pull up my example.
Oh yeah, there you go. I'm gonna be a body type 1 parent.
I've seen that same one, but instead they replace her head with the face of I always forget his name, the Babe Ruth big guy from Goonies.
Sloth.
Sloth.
Yeah, Sloth. Yeah. Well, it's like I keep trying to tell you guys,
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad I don't watch TV.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do watch this.
And I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. I am too. But you know how I palate cleansed? I started watching The Righteous Gemstones, and I absolutely love that show.
Not familiar with that one.
You should check it out if you have Max, because it's actually really funny. Now, I have to admit, I'm one of those guys who doesn't find that, Dane, whatever his name is, I don't think he's very funny. I think he's like obnoxious as hell. But the show also has Walton Goggins in it. And Walton Goggins absolutely steals the entire show as Baby Billy every time he is on it. In fact, this is a clip from that show.
Go outside, nerd. Get out. Go. I ain't got time to be distracted by your worthless chime-ins. Go on.
So there you go.
One show I would like to see, and I see clips of it on and off every now and then, is Tulsa with Sylvester
Tulsa
Stallone.
King?
Yeah,
Tulsa King's good. Well, a lot of people say Tulsa King season 2 wasn't that great. I liked it okay. It wasn't as good as the first one, but still. Oh, and let's see. What else have we got? We got a lot of stuff today. I've been gathering things, all kinds of tidbits and clips and things, just things I've been finding on the net. Things like this.
Oh, yeah. What company is the one that's doing that? That's censoring all their older games?
This is Capcom, because they're re-releasing Onimusha Part 2, I think. And yeah, the 2025 version is going to be edited.
I fucking hate this timeline we're in.
I agree. I don't know why.
It's weird because for a while it's like we want the boobs, and now it's like no, take the boobs away again. We cannot seem to pick a lane on this in regards to video games.
Yeah, it's like they won't give us boobs, but they will give us men dressed as women or whatever. I don't get it. Or women who are so ugly they might as well be men.
Turns out all of those moms, all those church moms from the right in the 80s and 90s, just like became progressives.
Yeah. I have to disagree with this meme. I guess I'm a softie, but I like the monster girls on the top rather than the ones on the bottom.
Same, because they're cuddly and the monster's on the outside, not the inside.
Yeah.
So no, I was on X earlier and someone posted it was a drawing of a female version of Ultron, and I just posted the meme. I should stick my penis in there. However,
I have seen that female Ultron. I have that comic book, so I know the one you're talking about. All right, well, let's look at some other fun stuff.
Oh, like female Ultron, Jocasta.
No, this was there was actually, I think it was Janet Van Dyne was actually turned into Ultron for a little bit.
Yep, and then they made that character Jocasta as well.
I think this was just a drawing of like the Avengers version of Ultron, and then just remade. Sorry.
Okay.
We're nerds. T-shirt. You should know to expect this.
I should know that. Yes. Okay. So here we go. Some Kyle for us. Obviously, yes. This guy is Ryan Gosling in GTA 6.
Written in the Mishnah, gay parade about to be the new Hare Krishna. Looking for a putty tat, not a dick shoved in. You didn't listen.
Never gets old.
No, it doesn't. By the way, she makes that face again in this episode.
Oh, she actually made this face? I thought that was just memes.
No, she makes his face in the new episode too.
All we need now is a cameo from Rachel Zegler making the same face.
Well, I mean,
his face was terrible when Matt Mercer made it.
Dash suffering activists need boss skippable.
Okay, so the deal with this is, journalists would like a boss skip mode because they can't get through the bosses.
And what game is this?
All of them.
I mean, I want to say they shouldn't, but at the same time, I remember looking up cheat codes whenever I had a hard time trying to get through certain levels. So I can't really say one or the other on my part.
But there's a difference, though. Like, they want the innate built-in press A to skip.
Yes.
Those cheat codes you would have to put in. You would have to put in and put the effort into even discover those. Those weren't exactly handed to you. And even then, some of those cheat codes were bitches to put in because you might have to make sure you put it all in really quickly. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Like, they literally want to hand it to them on a silver platter.
Oh, yeah. They don't want to have to do any work. They just want all the rewards. But anyway.
Kotaku omae wa motion deiru.
You know I had to put that in there.
Nintendo with patents presiding, no ball summons, no.
Yeah, we already knew this about Pal World. It's like, when you get the ball, you can't throw the ball to summon anymore. Now the Pal appears right beside you. So yeah, that's not new news. But yes, they're still fighting that lawsuit. And hey, Daniel,
what's up?
Hey,
Nintendo should prove itself to be the biggest villain of our lives, and I never thought I would live to see this day. I knew they were dicks, but I didn't think they'd be fucking villain.
Oh, I mean, you know, on a long enough timeline, you get to watch your favorite person become a villain. So this is the one we're in now.
Is Palworld still working on that dating simulator?
It is actually. It's already out, but they also have a new world or a new island that they're dropping pretty soon. Like I think within December or so, or September. I'll have to look up the article again, real quick.
I hope they drop it like the week after Pokemon releases a game.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Give me a sec. So this comes from IGN, but X Terraria a Pal World X Terraria coming in 2025. December update set to add huge new island. And they say it's about 6 times bigger than Sakurajima, which that's pretty big. But yeah, they're doing a crossover with Terraria.
which
So,
is a huge game in its own right too.
oh yeah, it is. I'm actually kind of excited about it. I really want Pal World to succeed. I want them to triumph and defeat Nintendo, but you know.
Well,
Hey, Raven.
The thing is, we've seen time and time again that no one actually rises up to defeat them. They all suffer self-inflicted wounds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, World of Warcraft, everyone was waiting for the WoW killer, and then WoW just screwed itself over enough, and Final Fantasy had a decent enough game that people were like, hey, wait a minute, we don't have to deal with the bullshit.
Kind of sounds familiar, doesn't it? I mean, there's a certain particular brand of TTRPG that just won't quit, although it does go into remission every once in a while, but it always comes back because it's the biggest name in TTRPGs.
Mm-hmm. Two-Ton Gorilla.
Yes, it is.
Poke gliding. Banned for a teabag, painfully queer.
Okay, so this is some news that I got recently, and I have here a statement from Activision and Raven Software. It is official player conduct notice. Effective immediately, teabagging or diddying is a bannable offense.
Diddying.
Yep. In our continued effort to foster a respectful and inclusive gaming environment, we are updating our player conduct policy. The following actions are now considered unsportsmanlike behavior and may result in disciplinary action, including temporary or permanent bans. Teabagging, rapid crouching over a downed or eliminated player. Diddying, excessive or taunting movement after the eliminations meant to harass or humiliate. Why? These actions, although brushed off as just part of the game, contribute to toxic gameplay and diminish the experience for others. We are committed to making our community safer and more welcoming for everyone. What this means for you: repeated violations will be monitored and actioned. Reports of this behavior will be taken seriously. Don't test it. Play with respect. Stay sharp, stay respectful, stay in the game. The Activision and Raven Software teams.
Well, if they don't want people diddying, then they shouldn't be putting baby oil in as a consumable.
No kidding.
And I say that as a joke, but that's really the honest truth of a lot of this video game bullshit. Is you put shit in these games that encourages specific behaviors and always has. And then you go back and you get mad because you got a small group that get pissy about it and people who want to cry all the time, and you go ruin your own game for it. This happened with Age of Conan, which is the only MMO that I ever truly enjoyed for any length of time. I mean, Dark Age of Camelot was okay.
Yeah, I heard Daok was good.
But, Age of Conan was the only one I ever really cared for. And it went from really the Age of Conan, hardcore PvP, we can kill you anywhere, there's no ramifications for it. Oh, there's an in-game bounty system where if you're too much of an asshole, the other players will basically get rewarded for killing you. But doesn't matter where you are, you can be in Conan's throne room and get ganked right in front of him. And you've got, and the combat system was almost a fighting game. I mean, it was, movement mattered, timing of combos mattered to pull off your like special attacks. You didn't just run a macro. You actually had to hit the combo to trigger it. And then you had to, in a particular time, with good timing and a particular rhythm, tap out, right attack, forward attack, lower right attack, upper right attack, or whatever it was. And it was a very skill-based game. And
the Necromancer was hated universally by everybody because it slowed the game's FPS down to like a 3.
20 minutes to go through a door.
Uh-huh.
But it was like, that was an awesome game. And then it was, well, we're going to cut the combos back. oh well, we're gonna change the way the hitbox detection works. Oh, we're gonna add more guards. Oh, we're gonna have zones where there is no PvP. We're gonna have entire servers where there's they already had PvE servers. Go play on those. But we're gonna add them in the PvP servers.
This sounds a lot like what Blizzard's doing with World of Warcraft. With the we don't you don't have to know the chains anymore because you can just chain it all together.
But you
longer
put a bunch of
cooldowns.
stuff, you put a bunch of stuff in the game, and then you turn around and tell people to stop doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I just got two words for the people that are complaining about this kind of stuff. Get good.
Get good.
Well, I mean, to be fair, in Age of Conan, it doesn't really matter how good you are when a necromancer drops 20 minions on you while you're trying to buy potions. It doesn't really work out so well.
I tell that person still the same thing. Get good.
Real women need a pap smear. Marathon bombs and gay design flounders.
Oh, are we talking about this story?
Gay design flounders.
This one?
No. The you wouldn't download.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember seeing that.
Oh, but it's relevant today because there was a little update about this. Because as it turns out, the font was actually stolen. They downloaded it without paying.
Yes. They stole that font to do this.
This is just now coming out that they stole the font for this movie. How old is this?
You wouldn't steal a font. No, this is for a thing that they put on all the DVDs way back in the day about not stealing videos because it was a crime. You wouldn't steal a car.
I mean,
then don't steal a video because it's a crime.
But this is like at least a decade or even more older though, because I haven't seen that in forever.
I have DVDs that still have this on there.
So, fun fact about Hollywood. So much of it is already running off of either illegal, outdated software where they've never bothered to update the license. In some cases, they outright say, do not shut this computer down because, we don't know if we can get this software up and running. Don't hit the update button. Do not refresh it because if it does, then the software that we totally purchased legally won't work.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out that they just don't want people to take their money.
Isn't that how it always works?
MD Geist does not have that warning, probably because they know nobody wants to steal it.
Probably. But I have it, so I'm good.
I do too.
We don't care what you call a quarter pounder.
Yeah, Critical Drinker got blocked by somebody for his Last of Us video, despite the fact that I watched multiple other YouTubers using clips from the show who didn't get blocked. So obviously somebody went after him because they were afraid of his opinion. And yeah, he called them out on it. And because his outreach was so big, they unblocked his channel almost immediately. But yeah, all the rest of us who don't have the kind of reach and presence that the Drinker does, if we show clips from the show, we're probably going to get our channel deleted.
Only nice thoughts say HBO clowns. Is that an opinion? Get taken down. Only thing erect around here is a statue. Skinny woke cult got a signal virtue. Enderman steal and Enderman fight. Brain rot Gen Z race swap on site. Rockstar selling sexy, less lectures. Mock corporations, gay architecture. White smoke mean a new pope.
What? Which part?
Less
GTA.
Lectures, mock corporate.
Yeah, GTA, by the way, this game is like, what, $2 billion?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, $2 billion they're spending on this. So if it's not a mega supreme, masterstroke hit that sells tons and tons of copies, they're fucked.
Well, the thing is, GTA is one of those rare exceptions to that rule of, people will buy it. Is there are people who are just willing to throw anything at it. It's like the No Man's Sky of games.
It is. And admittedly, even I'm excited to play it. But am I cautious? Am I wary? Am I a little bit worried? Yeah, I am all those things. But still, I want to play it.
Operations gay architecture. White smoke mean a new pope is elected. Hit the like button, keep Gaio selected. Gears of War on PS5. Halo up next, objective survive.
Oh,
They've
I
destroyed
wanna
that
use a
series.
slur.
I bet you do. I bet you do. Speaking of games coming up, so anybody who paid the extra $20 for Doom Dark Ages is now enjoying playing it because it's 2 days of early access for free. Well, not for free. You had to pay $20 above and beyond the regular price of Doom the Dark Ages. My broke ass decided I'm going to keep that extra $20, thank you, and try to find something better to do with it. And I did. I found something that was, well, it's not Doom, but it's definitely horrific and awesome. It is a little game that just came out today called Labyrinth of the Demon King. It is a Japanese game. It has PS1 style graphics. And shit, dude, it's got some huge amounts of atmosphere. In fact, I recorded 5 minutes of my gameplay footage just so you guys could see what it looks like. And let me find it right here.
You know, I've been saying for a while we're due for a revival of that PS1, polygon, like kind of low quality 3D era.
Well, if this thing sells big, you're gonna get it. Look at this shit.
We're already seeing it on the rise. Oh, look at that atmosphere.
Uh-huh. Now it is stuttering for some reason, which I think it's just because of my broadcasting, but the game itself does not stutter.
Well, it didn't
Even though
yell stars. I said it didn't yell stars.
Looks like it should, huh?
Stars.
Well, I mean, the whole black screen with just the graphic of the door opening.
The loading screen.
This is definitely giving like Skyrim mixed with Resident Evil vibes.
Little Fatal Frame.
This is like old PS1 Resident Evil style.
Dude, I tell you what, like those games terrified me as a kid.
Check out this shit right here.
And the most terrifying part of PS1 Resident Evil games was the fact that you couldn't use third-person control. You had to do the turn and then run thing.
Tank controls for movement.
Why does my character have to like stop and then turn and then move?
Yep, tank controls. This does not have those. Yes, the enemies will kick, they will block, they will light hit, they will hard hit. And you kind of have to play a little parry game to figure out, how to hit them.
Yeah.
This is just like
a Minecraft philosophy. We have more powerful machines. We can either dedicate our resources to googly-eyed graphics and make a shit game, or we can dedicate our resources to a really, really good game and deal with graphics that people were okay with 20 years ago.
Well,
That's definitely.
I'm sorry for that. Nope. I'm sorry with the choppiness of it, but
well, the thing is though, if you look at the numbers, the vast majority of games being played these days are at least 6 years old, and that's if we even don't count the free to play ever present games like your Fortnite or ones like that. If people are going back playing older stuff.
This makes me feel like Amnesia too when I kind of watch the gameplay and the music and the background kind of vibes.
Oh yeah, it's everything that all the old school players really would enjoy, myself included. I haven't gotten to play too much of it because I literally just got it before we started the show, so I only got to play like a little bit of it. It's really heavy duty on the atmosphere. Everything feels oppressive, and there is a slight edge of black humor to it all. So it definitely feels very Japanese. And here's the best part: $15.99.
Well, enjoy it while you can, because we've got to jump back into Helldivers.
No, we don't. That game crashed and burned.
They just dropped a new patch.
Yeah, but I mean, like, everybody hates that game now. It's like they went from a winning formula to nerfing their weapons so much that now, you can't do anything.
I don't know. Like it managed to maintain an audience that's there. That's become a dedicated thing. And I think a lot of that is just kind of the people not happy with patches, but we do have weapon customizations coming, so we'll see what happens. Especially when they bring in a whole new faction of enemies to fight.
Well, there are some other games I can recommend. By the way, been picking up a few here lately that are third party. So, in case you don't want to spend $60 to $80+ on whatever latest AAA crap is out there, I'm going to recommend Drop Duchy for $14.99. It's a lot of fun. It basically plays kind of like a mix between Tetris and I don't know what else, but it is a colony builder. Actually, it's a kingdom builder type thing. It's also a roguelite. It is also a puzzle type game. It is also a strategy game, and it's just lots of fun. And I have to blame Chubby Funster because he's the one who got me playing that.
Speaking of Chubby Funster, he's been having a drive-thru RPG sale since today's his birthday as well.
That's right, 75% off on all his stock. So if you've been waiting on anything, don't wait.
He doesn't look a day over 74.
No, he doesn't.
Third kindergarten joke here.
Yep. A few other ones I'll recommend is They Are Billions, which is a RTS where you have to fight off like tons and tons and tons of undead. There's Nordhold, which is your classic tower defense. There is Surrounded, which is a another zombie type crafting survival type game, which ain't actually half bad. And if you notice a theme, it's because I kind of got zombies on the brain. Gonna say Diplomacy is Not an Option is another good one.
You should have those zombies on the brain looked at.
Yeah, I should. There's Ledifer, which is a bullet hell with zombies, and also really cute succubi chicks and stuff. Absolutely worth looking at, Ironcaster. Also, one that involves your people directly for some reason, because it's called Last Hope Survival, and it's another tower defense against zombies, except this time you're playing Native Americans. I don't know why. And why they dress in ancient tribal garb. But they do.
You gotta stand out somehow.
I guess so. I mean, you gotta have your feather headdress on when you're fighting zombies so you look impressive. Tomorrow, Capcom Fighting Collection 2 comes out, and a lot of you guys are going to want to buy that one because it's got rival schools as part of the collection, which you must get. I got Crusader Kings 3. I haven't really had a chance to try it out yet, but I just bought the base game, and I know everybody loves that game, so I'm going to try it out before too long. But my big one tomorrow is still Doom Dark Ages, because I want to play that. I've been excited to play it, and I think everybody else is too. So there you go. Lots of really good stuff out there. Not going to cost you an arm and a leg, and unless you just want to buy something expensive, I mean, you certainly can. Oh, and this little gem got a little bit of a drop. We accidentally leaked this. We didn't mean to, but it was an accident. Honest.
Rated M for mature.
This game. Never heard of it at all. Nah.
I don't know, that chick isn't manly enough.
Nah, she doesn't. her boobs are too big. And also, even though she is Asian, Asians are still coded as white. Therefore, I find this racially offensive. And look at that ass.
Have good news? I do.
That's alright. Fortunately, we'll be able to mod this game to make her as modern as we want.
Yes, yes. With an unlocked frame rate.
All that pain. I'll put an end to it.
That was pretty racist right there. Japanese and Chinese voiceover.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody knows that those two countries don't get along.
World being how it is.
All them various
God, already
different
given
kinds
up.
of, cheesy.
It'll be
Their
very
own
different from the
voiceover.
monsters you've faced so far.
Ooh, a new boss battle. I don't have a PS anything anymore, so I've been excited to play this one on PC.
No?
It's PC Master Race. Wow, that really looks good, though. I'm just worrying how much this is going to hurt my GPU.
Don't ask.
Yeah. And they accidentally dropped the release date for it, too.
Because accidental leaks always have the ERSB rating information in the front.
Yeah. This was an accidental leak. They didn't actually mean to show this off. I will probably get copyright claimed for it. But, so yeah, I hope you were watching live, all three of you out there. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I'm excited about it. I want to play it. Because, not just because it's got, a gorgeous woman with big boobs and everything, but also it looks like a fun game. It just looks fun. Y'all want to see some more fun stuff? Because I got a lot of fun stuff.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Okay. How about this? Now, I will probably get copyright claimed for this one. So, if you're not watching it live and you wonder why there's a section of the video that's gone, it's because whoever owns the copyright on this said, no, you can't do this. Even though all I want to do is praise it because the bots don't care. They just see, oh, look, you're using our content. We don't care if it's positively or negatively. Positive streamer or something.
Have you seen it out there?
We will probably get claimed for this one, but
The city's a mess. The people could use a hero.
Is this what I think it is?
It's Nick Cage.
I hope
Nick
that
Cage,
finds
but
someone.
is this the movie I think it's going to be?
Yes.
Oh, fuck yeah!
Spider Noir. And it's by Amazon. It is not by Disney.
Honestly, one of my favorite, other Spider-Man variants is Spider-Man Noir.
Well, that one should be good.
The thing is,
about done to death.
with this being
more
an
Spider-Man
an
movies
Amazon
than
movie,
fight scenes and elevators.
with this being an Amazon movie, it leads into a bit more of Nicolas Cage's dislike of Disney, because famously he's kind of had a bit of a bug on his shoulder about them because they did nothing to help him out when he was going through his bankruptcies. There was no attempts to ever really help him get any work, or because it was at a time in which he was also dealing with covering his mom's hospital care for because she had a bit of a decline, and he really isn't happy with Disney.
Yeah.
Now the question is this a Marvel Amazon production or is this an Amazon Sony production? Because I think Sony still has a lot of the Spider-Man rights. So it's a big difference between Spider-Man being used by Marvel, which is Disney owned, and then Spider-Man the Spider-Man that's Sony owned.
Okay, so Sony owns the Spider-Man film rights, and this is a character spinning out of this is a character spinning out of the Spider-Verse movies, which are Sony films.
Yep,
that is tied into that. Sony essentially sold one of their movies over to Amazon for distribution, and Marvel doesn't get a dime out of it other than some loose residuals because comics and it is a Spider-Man character.
So Disney has no part in this, which means Nicolas Cage should be just fine then.
Right.
Well, at the very least, it's they get a little cut of it, of course, but yeah. For the most part, they get their greasy mitts off it.
Well,
He'll be fine as long as he doesn't try to do an accent.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, Disney isn't getting any sizable chunk of it for like distribution. Like they'll get some residual stuff because they own the characters, they own the Marvel like name, but they don't own the film rights, and that's where the money is tied up in that and merchandising. But Disney's not going to be making merchandise for a character that they're not seeing the lion's share of the money from.
I will be interested to see how they explain the age thing, because if you read the main Spider-Man Noir comic that talks about the Spider-Man Noir origins,
stop right there. Read the comics, put that out, throw it out the window. Don't worry about that.
I'm talking about the official Spider-Man Noir comic where it talks about him like as young. I believe they're supposed to be Russian too in that one, if I recall.
The thing you got to realize though is comics are at this point the comics are an ancillary thing that exists as long as they tolerate it, and ultimately they're not going to be adhering these films to those comics. It's material they use. It was material they used to draw inspiration from, but ultimately the thing that's in the driver's seat, the thing that makes millions, is the movies, not the comics. Like the comics make thousands.
Yes.
So the movies make millions.
So I'm wondering if they're going to have it towards like when he was younger, he got bitten by, or I actually know Spider-Man Noir, it's a goddess that gives him the spider powers. And then it fast forward to now present day where it's Nick Cage age old Spider-Man Noir.
And
I don't know.
If you do want to get into the technicals of that, then yeah, they might do something with that idea. But in the grand scheme of Marvel, it's a different Spider-Man Noir than the comic version.
Not to mention, a lot of the comics these days are bending in order to canonize the films.
Which has been my biggest complaint for the last decade.
Yeah. How many radioactive spiders? Well, it was a goddess, not a radioactive spider on that one.
Yeah, and
I
Spider-Man
mean, Madame
Noir.
Curie was around.
Yeah, that's true. Mary Curie was around. And a little bit more news, which I'm not sure if it's good or bad. I guess it really depends on how you felt about the first season. But we do have a release date for Fallout Season 2 on Amazon. It's going to premiere in December 2025, and they have already renewed for a third season on Amazon. So
sweet.
Which that's one of the weirdest series, because it's like I know it's wrong. I mean, there are some big ass plot holes in the show. There's stuff that's technically not correct. There are some things about it I don't like, but I honestly love the show. I just do.
If you have issues with plot holes, you don't need to be playing Fallout games anyway. All right. You want to talk about you were talking about comic books and continuity and all that stuff earlier. Anytime I hear somebody talk about, they're not keeping to the canon of the comic books, I'm just kind of like, dude, shut the hell up. Are you kidding me? Every universe, every hero, every single one of them has been rebooted 19,000 times in 200 different ways. There ain't no damn canon. Like, X-Men has 9 canons going at one time. It's like freaking John Philip Sousa doing the 1812 overture over there. So it's like Fallout is kind of the same thing. It's like Fallout is there's you have to like exclude entire games in order to make the Fallout timeline make any sense whatsoever.
Well, only the Brotherhood of Steel tactics.
Yeah. Well, also New Vegas, because according to the TV show's timeline, like New Vegas blew up.
Yeah, but we don't know when, and we don't really know the state of New Vegas. That's what all of season 2 is going to be about.
New Vegas did blow up. Keep in mind, New Vegas did blow up. It just didn't blow up as much as everybody else. I mean, literally, House's missiles were just good enough to kind of keep the Lucky 38 and some of the surrounding stuff in decent shape. He basically was able to save like 5 casinos with his entire missile defense system.
Well, I mean, the truth is, if that game if they'd had the time, the memory, and the disc limitation, they could have made a fully fledged Fremont Street with everything on it and everything else, and saved a whole big chunk of. I mean, Vegas would have been way bigger. It would have been like the like Fallout 4's ruins area, like with how big that thing is.
I always wish it was, because
I do too.
New Vegas is far and away the best Fallout game, without any question. There is absolutely no argument that there's a better Fallout game than New Vegas, unless it's just because you prefer the isometric turn-based system that
a lot of people like that one the best. But
yeah, I mean, if you like that style of game better, then yeah, Fallout 1 and 2. But there's no question.
My favorite is still 3. My favorite is still 3, unquestionably. And I'm going to say it's a nostalgia factor as much as anything else, because I hadn't played a Fallout game in years until 3 came out. And then when I got a hold of 3, I got a hold of it on my PS3, and I started playing it, and it was in 3D. And I will never forget the one thing that still brings chills to my spine to this day is the moment that you leave the vault and you walk out and you see the wasteland, and that you hear that, that great music playing in the background. And it's just magical, and I'll never recapture that moment.
It's cool and all, but just if you look at it with any kind of objectivity, 3 was cool and 3 was a good game, but there's literally nothing that 3 does better than New Vegas, except not crash in some places.
And the music.
What they
I don't know. I'd take the music in New Vegas over Fallout 3 every time.
Nah. Nah.
What they should do is they should make a spin-off show and focus it entirely on New Vegas, mostly because I'm curious to see who they would hire for the role of Joshua Graham.
Oh God, that's a character that
who would
everybody
they have Mr. House?
Everybody would want.
Dead.
That's the one. I think that's the one character everybody wants to show up in the Fallout series. Is they desperately want Joshua Graham to show up. But
I know who would. This is going to be. It's kind of dumb, but I think Christopher Walken would make an interesting Mr. House for New Vegas.
No. No.
I don't know who you can replace Rene Auberjonois with, just because he's so perfect for it as a voice actor.
And I forget the name of the guy who did Joshua Graham, but they'd have to get him to actually act the part. But he's so old.
His name is
Graham. I think could be a few different people. Like you could do. I'm trying to think of some of the action stars that are out there right now that have that kind of persona.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to just piss everybody off and make a comedy out of it, you could cast Vin Diesel.
But, God, no.
This is going to be kind of dumb, but I mean, this is the first person I think of if you want someone to play Joshua Graham, Liam Neeson, especially if you did his acting role as he did in Taken. I think that could work, maybe. Okay,
but here's a better idea, and it kind of makes all the fans happier. You get the kid who I think is actually one of the Waynes, like is John Wayne's nephew or some shit. We get one of them to do the physical body acting of Joshua Graham, and it's the same guy who did The Mandalorian. Whenever Pedro Pascal couldn't be bothered to do this shit.
Yeah, it'd be easy to just have one person be like the physical body, and then you can just have someone else be his voice. That would, because of how Joshua Graham is in the game, that would make perfect sense.
And yeah, you get the original voice actor Keith Azarbakatiza or something like that. I forget his name.
Sarabacha. I don't know how you pronounce it either.
Yeah. I forget what it is, but dude's voice is just so iconic. You get him to voice over all the lines because Joshua Graham is not really a super duper physical character anyway. I mean, but when he does get physical, he whoops ass.
Yeah, because I think
gun at him.
Because if you do a New Vegas show, that's going to be the one person that everyone's going to want to see is Joshua Graham at least.
Absolutely.
And maybe if you do, I think it was the Broken Hearts DLC where you got to go fight that other courier. That may be something that other people would want to see too.
Ulysses.
No.
Lonesome Road.
Lonesome Road, yeah.
Nobody wants to see Ulysses.
I don't think so. Though I always kind of liked Ulysses a little bit, but I would rank, to be honest, I'm and I know I'm way in the minority on this one. I'm a huge fan of Dead Money.
Dead Money was, I hated that thing at first, but the more I've gotten to play it, the more I enjoyed it. I mean, it's basically Saw, but
It's a great cheat code too, because you go in there early in the game, and as long as you can get past the you're reasonably sneaky and stuff, then you cheese it and you take 45 minutes to limp your way across the Mojave with 9,000 gold bricks in the back. And then it just becomes a method of once a week visiting the Vendortron over at the Gun Runners.
No kidding. That and the fact that you have so many traps and stuff like that you can farm for XP.
Oh yeah. You just arm them over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, Dead Money that's a freaking XP farm. But yeah, we used to make fun. Raltz, who has been on my show more than once, hates Ulysses to the point where he actually made up his own little memes about him that we used to joke about, and it's just like the cadence that the guy used to use whenever he. So then I went to the fountain dispenser. I mixed the Nuka-Cola with the Sunset Sarsaparilla twice, and then I served it to the courier, whose name I still don't know, because I took the name Ulysses, even though I can't read.
Oh God! Yeah, Ulysses. His cadence was the way he spoke. They tried. It's a study in trying too hard.
Yeah, they were just trying way too hard with that guy. But yeah, I'm excited to see season 2, and I don't care. I know that all the big reviewers did not like it. I mean, Mauler didn't like it. Reaper didn't like it. All these guys did not like it. Critical Drinker liked it though, even though they were still shitting on it to his face. So that tells me something.
Well, Critical Drinker also has this thing that is just kind of a lost art in this world, which is the ability to detach yourself from your priors.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he can look at it as like you got two things when you have a series that comes in like this. You have two options when it decides that it's just going to kind of throw out everything that came before it. Mm-hmm. You can either go ape shit crazy and complain that some obscure minor thing that nobody else knows or cares about, or some weird Easter egg that was in in the third DLC or something got screwed up. Or you can detach yourself from your priors and you can review it just as an independent standalone piece of work.
I think what really hurt the show was the stupid executives at Bethesda saying that the Amazon show is canonical, because that did more damage to the show than anything. Because you could watch the Fallout show and be detached from the actual Fallout series, thinking, oh well, I mean, it's a series. It doesn't, this is just their take on Fallout. It's not what actually happened. It's not a canonical event. I don't have to, play my next Fallout game and worry about this place and that place, because this is just a show. But then they came out and said, no, this is all canonical, and I'm like, are you guys retarded?
That's the fault of the fans, to be perfectly honest. If that's a tactic, and it's a tactic that only works because you have fans who obsess about canon. I mean, Galaxy Quest is a spoof on this entire philosophy.
True.
And if they weren't so obsessive about it, then you wouldn't have Bethesda saying that. Because here's what you do. You step out and you say, oh, by the way, this is canon. And now it doesn't matter if they hate the series or not. They're going to watch the damn thing anyway, because it's canon, and they can't stand the idea that there's going to be something canon that they haven't seen, that they can't work into, that they can't pencil into their giant, conspiracy board that they've got in their basement about it. And they basically guarantee that everybody who's not, whether it has anything to do with the canon or not, they just guaranteed that every single one of those people is going to watch the show. And hate watch is the same number of viewers as liking it.
Out to tard hard. Rarted. Artard is the word to use. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I seriously, I wish I knew who it was who said, maybe it was Todd Howard who actually said it, but, I wish I could take him out to the side and, like, put the boots to him medium style. Do I still have that emoji? I may still have that one. Hold on a moment. When I say, putting the boots to somebody medium style, I mean this.
Put the boots to him, medium style.
I miss Death Clock.
That is, Metalocalypse was a truly great show and a great music.
It was. It was. I don't know why he.
Awaken.
I don't get it. The guy who made that show had a license to print money. He had at least another, 3 or 4 good seasons he could have done, and
no kidding.
We would have watched it.
He did I think 3 or 4 seasons and then a movie, I think, to kind of just wrap it all up, I think, in the end.
Yeah, he did 3 seasons and a movie, and I'm just like, are you retarded?
And the albums too, which I ended up buying all the albums too because they were just headbangers.
There was like 2 albums. It wasn't like there was a million albums. It was just like 2.
No, when the whole cocaine found in the White House thing happened, I found a CNN thing that's like cocaine found in the White House, and right below it was I'm Dr. Roxas rock and roll clown. I do cocaine. Yep.
Okay, I came back to cocaine.
Yes.
We're talking about Death Clock now.
Yeah, Metalocalypse. Yeah, they killed that way too soon.
Look, I mean, I will never run out of ground between me and my friends and whatnot going back to Blues Clock, which is just the greatest episode ever. It's so unbelievable.
That was why is all these things about his trains?
Blues.
Yeah, why is all these things about his trains? Because is there anything else?
It's like, I remember back in the early 2000s, before there were streaming services, I had to go, as an old man, I had iTunes, and I bought, I think 2 seasons of Metalocalypse on my iTunes account.
I bought all the DVDs, so I have them all still stored away. Okay, now I've got a controversial thing I'm going to say. It's very controversial. And it is on the TTRPG. So all you TTRPG people who have been avoiding the show because we haven't been talking about TTRPGs, this is your chance to come in and wail all over me and tell me my opinion sucks and I'm an arterd. Okay? So y'all listen really good.
IQ is low.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. This is my hot take on RPG. Because I thought of this the other day, and I know people are going to, as sure as the internet has people on it, and as sure as if I put up a picture of a tomato, somebody will argue about it. They'll argue about this. And maybe the bros will be the first people to do it. I don't know. But I have decided that the truth of all RPGs, all TTRPGs, is not the system. It isn't. It's not the system. It doesn't matter what the system is. You can play Traveler. You can play RuneQuest. You can play D&D. You could play, Scarlet Heroes. You could play whatever you want. The system plays less into what the players want. The truth of it is, the players want to sit.
Made along the way.
No. The real truth is, it's the story. And what I mean by that is I don't mean story games. I don't mean railroad tracks. I don't mean milestones. I don't mean any of that bullshit. What I mean is you will sit down and you will play a TTRPG and you will keep coming to the table and playing, even if it's a shitty system, if you're having fun and the story is keeping you interested. If your character is fun and you're enjoying it and you're enjoying everyone else's interactions and you want to know more about the world and you want to get yourself involved and want to make more parts of the story, you will endure playing a bad system. And I know this is true because I've done it many times on my own. Systems that were less than perfect, imperfect, just straight out trash, homebrew, fucked up, shitty, tons of calculations per second, dice games and everything else, broken abilities and everything else, overpowered characters. You'll still sit there, you'll play through it, you'll endure it if the game is fun and you're enjoying it. So to me, I think system matters much less than the actual story being told and your investment in it.
Well,
I sense no flaws in that logic.
I do. For one,
Okay.
This is the first flaw.
Okay.
Go play Condor DM's Neo TTRPG system and come back and tell me that the system doesn't matter. If you can manage to do that, then I might retract that part of the statement.
Well, here's the thing. If you can manage to make those rules work for you, and here's the real trick to that is you'd have to have Condor run it for you, I think, because only he understands his system. But let's just say, for hypothetical sake, that you play Condor's game system in one of his games, and it turns out that his world is really fabulous, interesting, and exciting, and you do want to get involved in the lore, and you do want to get involved with the characters, and you do want to, you will endure however bad that system is in order to keep enjoying the story.
Well, I tried, and it's basically unplayable. And this is coming from a guy who, in his initial review of it, actually said that if there is a positive to be found in his game, it is largely that he does actually have at least the framework of a decent game world that would be interesting to play in if it were actually playable. But aside from that, the second part is, and I know there's going to be somebody out there, especially somebody in a Bro SR t-shirt, who's jumping up and down. It's apocryphal. Gary never said that, even though we don't care what Gary said because it just depends on the day of the week. But
we don't care what you do.
What did he say? What was the thing? The great secret. We're all all us game designers are screwed the second they realize that they don't need any rules.
Yeah.
They don't need.
Honestly, the most unplayable. Well, there are two really, really unplayable systems that I have encountered, and they were unplayable. And the first one was Cyborg Commando, which was written by Gary Gygax, by the way. Had a cool story, had a really, really good story, but the rules themselves were just, they were like somebody else was on cocaine when they wrote those things. They don't make any sense at all, and I still have a copy of that somewhere. And the other one is my sad to Raven CS McCracken, because I love you, man. You know I do, and you're welcome on the show anytime, dude. If you're watching this, World of Cinnabar. I wanted to play that game so bad, because it's such a cool idea. There were so many different characters and races. The story was so super cool. The gods were awesome. Everything about that game is really, really good, but the rule set was just unfathomable. And I really did try, and I really feel bad that I never got to manage to play it. But I don't hold that against Raven. I've told him on many occasions, I said, hey, man, I'm sorry. I couldn't play that game because I couldn't figure it out. Maybe if you ran it for me, I could play it. I could figure it out. But because, your world is so awesome, dude. I just want to immerse myself in your world. And there's a third one, too. There was Immortal, which was, it looked really, really beautiful. But, yeah, I couldn't figure out how the fuck that game worked either. It looked really cool, though.
Was it crunch that made it? Was it just the crunch that got you, or was it just rules that didn't work?
It's just, you're sitting there trying to. My litmus test for any game, doesn't matter what it is can I build a character? And how difficult is it to build a character in this system?
Not a bad one to use.
Huh?
That's not a bad litmus test to use.
No, I mean, it's the simplest thing to do because every player is going to have that same problem too. And you as a GM are going to have to sit down and help players learn how to build their characters first. So if you don't know how to do it and you can't figure it out, and you're having problems with it, you get dash attack.
I'm gonna I'll give you a free piece of advice real quick to anybody out there who wants to design their own game. This is what I'm actually doing with the game that I've been working on for a couple years now. I've got, the first chunk of my core rules written out. My beta reader for my rule system has no interest in TTRPGs, has never played a TTRPG, would have to ask me again to explain what the letters TTRPG mean, and is not a super imaginative person to start with. But you know what? She's a mother who has children. And if I can hand her the book and say, do you think your children would enjoy this? And do you think you could teach them how to play it based on this book? If she comes back and says, yeah, I've got a basic idea of how this works, and she can explain to me how my system works, then I know that I've got a system that's playable and doesn't have to worry about that whole thing. Because not only can you or I make a character, random Joe on the street who has no idea what this is and doesn't care can roll a character after reading that book. So get you a non-player.
Yeah. Now even some of my favorite games out there, like Fabula Ultima, not necessarily the easiest character creation system, but once you get the swing of it, it gets very easy to make multiple characters in it very quickly. I mean, would you guys agree?
I don't know.
I thought the character creation was very easily when I was reading through it.
I think it's a little not as like streamlined as like D&D, but I think it is cool, like the origin and stuff. I do like how all the classes are mostly Final Fantasy inspired. Yeah, I'm looking forward. We're doing the game Thursday, right? Still
correct.
Okay, I'm good because I'm excited to actually get to play it again too, and hopefully Grim will be feeling better and he'll be running it on Sunday.
Fabula Ultima, I'm really surprised how it feels like it really is catching on, because I haven't seen too many other RPGs that have really got this fire under them to where I've seen multiple groups all wanting to go fire off to play it like this. Not recently anyway. Like, yeah, little things will pop up here and there, but Fabula Ultima really is kind of surprised me with just how quickly people are kind of taking to it in this sort of underground sense, even though it's got like the Annies and that, but it's held on with some staying power.
Well, it's once you get the hang of it, and it isn't too hard to get the hang of it, but once you do, it isn't difficult at all. I'm actually surprised at how good it is. Now, I mean, I still think like Scarlet Heroes is probably one of the easiest ones to figure out how to run and play, just because it's so basic. I mean, it's pretty much, in my opinion, it's the replacement for, white box D&D or anything OD&D or OSE, old stuff.
My brain is so primed and ruined that I don't. Maybe Shadowrun or something is going to be hard for me to find a system where rolling a character, as long as it's an actual functional system, where I'm going to be too worried about it. Because, I mean, I came up. My first major game that I was big into was Cyberpunk 2020. My second game that I was into was D&D 3.5 or D&D 3rd edition to start with. Second for a very short period of time, then 3rd edition. And
third was not an easy game to learn.
Dude, I can crank out a 3rd edition character in less than 5 minutes.
I can't, because I have to think out my character ahead of time. I have to look at what's I want my character to class into, and what I want to get along, and what feats I want to pick up in the future. So I really have to plan a character. So it will take me at least an hour to an hour and a half to build a 3.0 character, but that's just me. That's because I'm Mr. Plotty planning. Let's see which way we're gonna go with this.
I can't even crank out a 5th edition character that fast, and that's 5th edition of all things.
5th edition is so easy.
Yeah, I generally do take a good bit of time thinking out, fleshing out characters. But I mean, if you say, "Hey, I need a I need you to roll out a villain for me. I need a 9th level. Let's just say I need a 9th level Fallen Paladin. I'll crank out a Blackguard for you in no time flat.
Oh, and by the way, yes, apparently the Spider Noir trailer is getting copyright strike. Or is it strikes or is it claims?
According to Nerdrotic, there's like copyright strikes. Because it was a leaked trailer.
Oh, it was a leaked trailer.
It was a leaked you mean that wasn't supposed to be officially dropped? It's only 30 seconds.
And I know,
for once, Tom Holland isn't at fault.
The funny thing is, like, it's garnered such attention. At this point, they really should just roll with it because people want to love this thing.
Yeah, we do. It looks cool. We want to love Nick Cage.
I'm super excited.
I have a hard time.
Yeah, you should have heard me when I was like,
I have a hard time just not calling BS on it, to be perfectly honest. To me, this reeks of marketing tactic.
Yeah, it does.
It's like, first off, that trailer was too polished, too put together. There's no signs that this is something that wasn't finished or wasn't ready to go out yet. It has its ESRB rating warnings and stuff on it already. It's like, you did not accidentally drop this.
Well, the thing is, though, they might have been having some sort of internal release date where they did want to drop it. For example, we know tomorrow is supposed to be the Superman, the new Superman trailer is dropping. And they probably didn't want to. They probably didn't want to drop a trailer for a Spider-Man movie around that.
That may be. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, because now that that's out, now that's going to happen. Like, once that trailer drops tomorrow,
is that the same Superman in which they decided to cast Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner of all things?
Oh yeah. Oh.
Yes.
And
what are you talking about, Hunter? That's perfect casting.
Actually,
he probably should have been. He probably. It probably wouldn't have been the. He probably should
have
have
news.
been the game this round would have cast, but he's perfect for that role.
I have news for that. I have news on that. You guys want to listen? So, as you guys know, I have a Max subscription because that's how I can continue to torment myself with The Last of Us, but also watch The Righteous Gemstone. But HBO, well, I should say HBO Max, whatever you want to call it, had a trailer for Peacekeeper Season 2.
Yeah, I just saw
that. Peacemaker, and Guy Gardner is in that. Nathan Fillion is Guy Gardner. So yes, that they're making Peacemaker and the whole thing with the DC Gunn universe is all going to be in it.
Yeah.
A James Gunn movie.
Yep. His face looks huge with a bowl cut. Not good casting image-wise, personality. Well,
all right, so the thing is, Guy Gardner.
My only issue with Fillion as Guy Gardner is that I'm so used to hearing him as the voice of Hal Jordan that seeing him as something other than that, it just doesn't feel right.
Okay, that's fair.
So, Guy Gardner is an asshole with a bowl cut. He's someone that you kind of do want to hate, and I think Nathan Fillion has the chops for it.
Yeah, and I don't want to hate Nathan Fillion as that character.
Sadly though, Nathan Fillion's getting up in years. At this point, he's probably about 5 years past his prime for playing a prominent superhero. Like, I would have loved to have done this after Firefly.
Yeah, that would have been good. They just should have picked a younger actor who could be a bigger dick. But I don't know, considering the way actors are these days. I mean, maybe this is just my opinion, but you don't see any Bronsons anymore. You don't see any Lee Marvins. You don't see any John Waynes. You don't see any of these, actual physical dudes that you would be afraid to fight in a real physical confrontation. Now, there are some. Sean Bean is a legit tough ass. You wouldn't want to fuck with him. Jason Statham is a legitimate tough ass. You wouldn't want to fight with him. He would fuck you up. Some of these other guys too, but a lot of these Hollywood guys is kind of like, they look big and buff and all this stuff on screen, but I'm pretty sure, that's all show muscle. And the truth is you could take them down. I mean, if you really had, they're not legitimate tough guys, even if they play like Chris Hemsworth. I love the actor, dude. I love him so much, but I'm pretty sure I could kick his ass. I'm pretty sure I could, but
Also, is there actually anyone new and upcoming that we think would even be able to take their places? Because I feel like in all the movies getting released, it's the same 10 different actors and actresses. Like Sylvester Stallone is still acting, Jason Statham's still acting.
Timothy Chalamet's kind of like the new hit movie star. He's
oh yeah, that just
How many more
screams of
movies do-
masculinity.
Oh, well,
How many
I'm
more
not
movies do we
saying,
need with The Rock in it?
You said movie stars. You didn't say masculine movie stars.
Well, what I meant is like men.
You realize though, like you say that, and the monkey's paw is gonna curl, and you're gonna be stuck with Pedro Pascal.
Again, he's already in Fantastic Four. Why would
He's
he
in everything.
Pedro Pascal's the male Zendaya of Hollywood.
He's the guy. I mean, he had to hold on to what's her name's hand because he has anxiety.
My point is that you got to be careful what you asked for because you're going to be stuck with Pedro as your new leading man of Hollywood.
I feel like that monkey's paw effect already happened when people were complaining about Chris Pratt being in everything. Even though all of Chris Pratt's movies make $1 billion.
I mean, yeah, that's another guy I don't think is a legit tough guy either. But
well, he also doesn't play legit tough guys.
No, he really doesn't.
Comical, every guy's thrown into a situation.
Star-Lord, smart ass strategist.
Can we
just survivalist.
I want to say, can we just scrap everything and do the Henry Cavill Warhammer 40K movie that we keep hearing about on and off?
I mean, yeah, I'd be all for it.
That's 5 years away.
As much as I would love to see that, I'm starting to believe that that he's a bit of a cursed actor himself. Because
yes,
when have we ever gotten a movie with him in it where we haven't seen sabotage? He was the perfect Superman, and then the studio found ways to sabotage that.
Mm-hmm. And he was the perfect Geralt. He loved the material. He wanted to make it authentic. He brought nuances to that show that the writers didn't even imagine, and then he was claimed to be too difficult to work with because of that. I mean, I've never heard of anybody saying that they love the part so much, and yet they're going to keep putting Mr. Kiss of Death in everything. Who's that fucker from going to be in Tron Ares?
Jared Leto?
Jared Leto.
Oh yeah, I was surprised, oh my god, Jared Leto's still getting work despite all his movies failing.
Oh,
it's can you think of a single movie that he's been in that didn't tank?
I have some bad news, guys. Be wary because Henry Cavill, while also tied to Highlander, is also tied to Voltron.
Well, I hope it. I'll watch it because it's Cavill, but shit, man.
Of Death.
When you say Voltron, are we talking the transforming cat Megazord Voltron?
Yeah.
Malform the head.
Yeah. The 5 lions. Goleon.
Mind you, I say this. I like Henry Cavill as an actor. I think he's got good chops. Like the Cavalry is funny and all that. But what movies is he in that aren't getting screwed over? Where he doesn't have
yes.
Anyone see Argyle? It was
Blade Runner 2049 did tank. Yes. It did. Actually, as I often tell people, there is no second Blade Runner movie. It doesn't exist. There's only one Blade Runner movie, and there are about 5 different cuts of it, maybe 6. And you can enjoy all of them on one single set of DVD or Blu-rays. But please don't try to tell me that Blade Runner 2049 was a sequel to that film, because it wasn't. It was some shit thrown on screen that looks pretty by some guy whose name you can't pronounce, who also made a couple of movies about a desert that also look pretty. But that's all he does, is he makes nice, pretty-looking movies that are silent, for the most part, with, people in them who do things, and you don't understand why.
Well, you can thank James Cameron for that BS.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, he, when Avatar came out, which is just objectively, Avatar is like somebody took Dances with Wolves, wiped their ass with the script, cast it as poorly as possible, and slapped on a patina of Fern Gully environmentalism. Said, "Oh, here's a big CGI budget," and for some reason, people thought this was good.
The first movie was good. I will give it that.
No,
But
I
the
have a
problem,
friend who first movie was crap.
I have a friend who absolutely worships that first Avatar movie, and I'm just like, dude, this movie sucked. I mean, it had its good points. It wasn't entirely garbage. I have seen films that were absolute total shit in comparison, but that movie's not that great.
I said I'd rather watch Axum.
I think the villain was better in the second movie, even though it's the same villain, but he's just in a new body.
I mean, I didn't even bother to see the second one. Then he's got a third one coming.
Why don't we just go rewatch like a bad Chuck Norris movie again? Let's go rewatch like
Because there are no bad Chuck Norris movies.
Have you seen? Whoa! What about Forest Warrior?
Okay, that wasn't bad, but that was not top level Chuck. Okay,
Right. You just
Chuck
don't
Norris
understand
transforms
Chuck
into
Norris.
animals as a Native American spirit.
You just don't understand what you have to do with Chuck Norris movies. If they didn't dumb down the scripts and give him like really bad scripts, he would just always win all the Academy Awards, and it wouldn't be.
I mean,
okay. How about this? Let's go watch Lone Wolf McQuade instead.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I love that one. Although, did you
Wish Marathon?
did you guys realize? Do you know this that David Carradine actually had it written into his contract that he would not be defeated by Chuck Norris's martial arts on screen? It's written into the contract for Lone Wolf McQuade. He would not be defeated that way. That's why the ending fight is so bullshit, because he basically escapes into the car and then he gets his car blown up. So, but my guess is Carradine didn't want getting his ass kicked on film to affect his career as a martial artist or whatever. But even though, truthfully, I mean, he was an actor who learned a little bit of martial arts, not a martial artist. I mean, Chuck would have wiped the floor with Carradine any day of the week.
Yeah, big time. Because Chuck Norris won the Long Beach Last Man Stand.
What?
Ducked out.
I think we lost him.
No, I said, Chuck Norris won the Long Beach Last Man Standing back when that actually meant something.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. I mean, Chuck was a legit tough guy. And the funny thing, too, is like we did a critique of, Way of the Dragon and that specific Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris fight scene. And we were just kind of like, at the beginning of that fight, Chuck Norris lands a bunch of punches and kicks. And I'm kind of like, that would have put Bruce Lee's ass out. I mean, because Bruce Lee, I loved it. I love Bruce Lee. Okay, I'm not shitting on Bruce Lee, but Bruce Lee is like maybe a featherweight, and
he wasn't
Chuck,
a big dude.
and Chuck Norris was a middleweight. So Chuck would have put his ass down if he'd landed those punches and kicks.
Yeah, but I've actually heard it from Chuck Norris's mouth himself personally, because I've met him a few times. He's flat out said that he wouldn't have landed any shots on Bruce Lee because he was so fast.
Yeah, that's probably true too. But I mean, then again, that's why we have weight divisions.
But Bruce Lee was he was a unique character. But no, yeah, Chuck Norris was about as legit as they get.
Yeah, he was, and we shall probably never see his like again. I've seen other martial artists who try to take the big screen, like Dawn the Dragon Wilson and Ronda Rousey and Chuck Liddell and all these other guys. But yeah, it's like he actually managed to make a career out of it.
Yeah, I mean, and he was decent. That's the big thing, is that he actually had at least some acting chops, whereas a lot of them really just do not.
No, they don't. And then they get wrestlers to do this stuff too, and you find out they're even worse. Like Goldberg as an actor, no.
Some of the worst things ever is seeing Bill Superfoot Wallace in any kind of acting gig.
Although the dude was a legit badass.
Oh yeah, Superfoot's awesome, and he's a dirty ass old man too. I mean, I know him very well, very well.
I love that dude.
Oh yeah, he's great.
But yeah. I mean, he would have whooped Jackie Chan's ass in what is it, The Protector?
Yeah. I mean, easily. And that's the thing. Like, it's one of the funny things too. Is it's like you got Jet Li and you got Jackie Chan, and Jackie Chan was a stunt man who had a little bit of wushu chops. He was not ever really like what you would consider a martial artist. And then you had Jet Li, who was
a legit wushu stylist.
He wasn't just a wushu stylist. He was a Shaolin monk. He's came from the temple, went back to the temple, and all he did was sit around and train.
And he could act. So
oh yeah, Jet Li was was really a really good actor, especially for action genre.
But anyway, I mean, we could honestly talk martial arts all night because it's like one of my wheelhouses that I love. But we can't forget. We have to, the one who stands above them all, the one who stands the tallest, the widest, and the most powerful of all the different martial arts actors, Steven Seagal.
He's the widest, all right.
Yes.
You know why he has a ponytail, right? Because he needed a convenient handle to pull his head out of his own ass.
Yeah. They still tell that story about Gene LaBelle making him shit his pants. I don't know if that's true or not, but
I'll tell you this about Steven Seagal, though. Steven Seagal had a very special martial art that to thank his career for, like a very, very lethal martial art. It's
What's
called
that?
Mob Fu.
Yeah.
His whole career is like, I mean, Steven Seagal was very, very mob connected.
Oh yeah.
A lot of his stuff ended up being used to launder
money.
Launder money and hide other things, hide other activities and whatnot. So like Steven Seagal was like, I mean, you were going to cast Steven Seagal because if you weren't, you're going to have a horse head show up in your bed.
Yeah, or worse. You'd have Steven Seagal show up in your bed.
Sure.
Anyway.
Fontaine.
Yeah. I guess we should show some love towards our Italian, Black, Russian brother, Steven Seagal. I don't know what he is this week.
Chinese.
I did actually buy one of his CDs once. I admit that. It was a gift, though. All right.
You hate that much?
Yeah. Somebody didn't. I think they thought it was a joke, and after I got it for them, they were like, "Oh, I didn't know you were actually going to buy this," and I was like, "You said you wanted that for your birthday." So they didn't keep it. So anyway, all right, guys. Well, we got 15 minutes until 9:00, and that means I turn into a pumpkin. So I gotta go. So shall we end this episode tonight?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. We have
Are
a
y'all
lot of
okay
good
with
talk stations, a lot of new stuff coming out.
Yeah.
So and
A lot of
hopefully it
great
won't-
stuff.
Hopefully, it won't all be crap.
No, I don't think it'll all be crap. No, we had a lot of really good stuff on the show tonight. Yes, we had our criticisms and our gripes, but we also had a lot of really good things on the horizon that we showcased, and we hope you enjoyed it. And I definitely hope you guys are going to come hang out with me on Saturday, because we're going to have Mark Reinhagen, the creator of Vampire the Masquerade, the original game that dethroned AD&D. We're going to have him on Saturday talking about his new game, Fang Night. So be there, 4 p.m. All right.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.